Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. I hope you had a great weekend. I've got a lot of news for us. There was a lot that happened, and you're going to find out momentarily. We're going to get started now with our cosmic weather. Spaceweather.com will get us started. Cosmic weather is currently 349.4 kilometers per second. Our planetary K index is back down to quiet. It's a 1. Expected within the next 24 hours that it will get no higher than a 2. You can see no apparent coronal holes that we can see on the front side of the sun here. Our chance for M-class flares are very low. 10% chance, even lower for an X-class. And geomagnetic storm activity is very low as well. You might get some 10% activity if you're in the mid-latitudes, a little bit higher, 15% in the upper latitudes. Alright, if we take a look here, we have our recent and upcoming Earth asteroid encounters, near-Earth objects. And we see we have one coming up on the 18th. It's going to be 67.2 lunar distances from the planet. Lunar distance is the distance between here and the moon. So this is going to be 67 times away from the Earth as the moon is. So it's pretty far away. And then the day after that, we have one that's a little bit closer at 4.9 lunar distances, or 4.8, and then 21st, another one, but that's back out there. So nothing really close at all. The closest we're going to have is May 19th, 2.3, but in comparison to some of the ones we had that were less than 1 lunar distance, these are pretty far away. So nothing to see there, nothing that we're going to probably experience. If we go up, the only other thing that there is to be aware of is the Lyriad meteor shower, which will be taking place this upcoming weekend. Earth is approaching the debris field of ancient comet Thatcher, source of the annual Lyriad meteor shower. Forecasters expect the shower to peak on the 21st and 22nd of April. A nearly new moon on those dates will provide perfect dark sky conditions for meteor watching. Alright, so there you go. Moving right along now. Astrologically, we're still in the sign of Aries, fire sign. Our conscious mind is Aries, creativity, new ideas, pioneering efforts, fresh starts. However, always pay attention that with Aries, because it is energy that is related to Mars, energy in itself can have a great deal of impact on both positive or negative depending on how it's used. So if you have a lot of creative energy, and if your creative energy isn't being channeled properly, then that energy itself can turn into being a bit more frustrating, and that frustration can then turn to anger and things of that nature. So you have to learn how to balance out your energies, and so by letting them out through creative ways, through expressing these ideas, you get them out of the system. You keep the frustrations and the tensions and all that stuff from building up. Unconsciously, we are right here. Our moon is between two signs. It's Aquarius and Pisces. Aquarius is an air sign. Pisces is a water sign. So you've got air and water today mixing with fire. If we just think of how those elements work together, water, we certainly know water can put out fire. You know, air can stoke the fire. Air can create great tidal waves with the water. There can be a lot of disruptions, but there can also be a nice, cool opportunity. Think of a day when you're at a park and you got a nice breeze. You got the pond or the ocean or the lake, wherever you are, and it's a sunny, warm day. So you got fire, water, air, everything that's there in nice balance. So it just depends on how that energy is being used. Our moon phase is currently a waning moon. We're almost back down to a new moon again. We're only 19% more to go, and we'll be back to a new moon. And our Mayan oracle for today, we're a 10-tone day. We've made it to the 10th position on this wave spell. It's a 13-day wave spell. The wave spell is the theme of the moon. So we're at the 10th position. The 10th position today is the white mirror. So we look to the middle here. So today is called a mirror day. And above it we have the 10, which represents not only our position here, but it also represents the tone that we are working with, the 10th tone. It's called the planetary tone. And so therefore you have the planetary tone and the white mirror. That makes up our name for today, the white planetary mirror. And the guide for today is the World Bridger. The supporting cast members around here, we have the Star, which is the challenging energy for today, and the like-minded energy is the Dragon, and then the hidden is the Night, N-I-G-H-T. Night is about dreams and abundance. Altogether, the phrase for today, I perfect in order to reflect, producing order. I seal the matrix of endlessness with the planetary tone of manifestation. I am guided by the power of death, and today is a Galactic Activation Portal Day. Galactic Activation Portal Day is a day where the energies coincide both on the column and here where they meet up. And let's find our exact position today. We are at the 10. So right here, here's our position for today. And so what this is, you got the energies of this column here are merging with the energies of the row, and together the way that they double themselves makes today Galactic Activation Portal Day. If you study this a little bit more, you'll understand what I mean. Alright, and there you have it. That's our cosmic weather for today. Dirk Bradshaw's with us. He's got a report on meteors, or excuse me, asteroids. So let's listen to what Dirk has to say. I'll be right back. Dirk, over to you.
I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lives?
Should an extinction-level asteroid begin plummeting towards Earth, it will take more than that Aerosmith song that they play at proms to save the planet. The chances that your tombstone will read killed by an asteroid are about the same as they'd be for killed in an airplane crash. Most asteroids are made of rock. The rest are metal, mostly iron. Some are rubble piles, gravitationally bound collections of bits and pieces, and most live between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter and will never come near Earth. But some do. Some will. More than 1,000 known asteroids are classed as potentially hazardous based on the size and trajectory. Currently, it looks doable to develop an early warning and defense system that could protect the human species from impactors larger than a kilometer wide. Smaller ones, which reflect much less light and are therefore much harder to detect at great distances, carry enough energy to incinerate entire nations. But they do not put the human species at risk of extinction. One killer asteroid we've been monitoring is Apophis, which is large enough to fill the Rose Bowl. On Friday the 13th, April 2029, it will dip below the altitude of our communication satellites. If its trajectory on the day passes within a narrow range of altitudes called the keyhole, then the influence on Earth's gravity on its orbit will guarantee that 7 years later, in 2036, on its next trip around the sun, the asteroid will hit Earth directly, likely slamming into the Pacific Ocean. The tsunami it creates will devastate all the coastal lines of the Pacific Rim. If Apophis misses the keyhole in 2029, we have nothing to worry about in 2036. Saving the planet requires commitment. First, we have to catalog every object whose orbit intersects Earth. Then, task our computers with carrying out the calculations necessary to predict a catastrophic collision hundreds or thousands of orbits into the future. Meanwhile, space missions would have to determine in great detail the structure and chemical composition of killer comets and asteroids. If humans one day become extinct from catastrophic collisions, we would be the laughingstock of aliens in the galaxy for having a large brain, a space program, yet we met the same fate as the pea-brained, space-programless dinosaurs that came before us. For the Cosmic News Network, I'm Dirk Bradshaw. I return you now to Joshua Poet and First Contact. This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
Alrighty, good report there, Dirk. Now we're on to the UFO news. We're going to start things off in Russia. This was a triangle UFO over Russia on Friday the 13th. The triangle-shaped UFO was recorded in the night sky above Russia on Friday, April 13th. Exact location is unknown. Let's check it out. See what we see here. Alright, comes to us from a Realm Leaper. Alright, here we go. We got the object here up by the lights. We got one here. We got another one over here. Okay, not certain what that is. It seems to be slow moving. Alright, we'll go a little bit more. Alright, there you have it. That's our UFO sighting over Russia. So what do you think about that one? A plane? Planes don't really move that way. You got the twinkling triangle light, so we've seen stuff like this before. Alright, the video is available so you can check it out. firstcontactradio.com, right hand side, UFO News. Next story takes us out to Kent. UFO sighting in Tunbridge Wells, Kent. Footage shows two unidentified flying objects in the sky above Tunbridge Wells in Kent. Reported by Kate Lambourne. To see the original footage by William Nolan, visit youtube.be. Alright, let's check it out here, see what we've got going on in Kent. Alright, there's that light. Alright, there's a light above the sky right there. Alright. Okay. That is the object. That is the object in question right here. And the other thing was a star, just to give you a relation to it. And you can see, there you go. That's our sighting in the UK. Moving right along. UFOs over Champaign. These lights hovered over the Market Street apartment, moving in different formations till they were in formation you see on the video. Alright, well, let's look at the video and see what the formation is. Alright, we got our grouping of lights. Again, we've seen this. Looks like the triangle lights, but there seem to be several others there as well. Okay, we're continuing to see how they're moving together a bit. Well, that's pretty darn fascinating. Look at that one, how they're blinking. Alright. There you go. That's our UFO sighting over Champaign. So the video is available for you to check it out. Give it good scrutiny. See what you think. If it's real, is it fake? Next story, fighter jet incident over Bath and Bristol. Loud sonic booms heard. Extremely loud noises were heard over Bristol the other day. Did anyone hear the noise? Two fighters screamed across the north skies above Bath last night, an incident that is still raising questions this morning. The Ministry of Defense and police said the supersonic aircraft were responding to what appeared to be an emergency from a helicopter. Well, we don't trust the Ministry of Defense to tell us the truth, so let's take a good look at what this is. Alright, we just got the plane here, and alright, that's all we got is the plane flying around. I think this is just the light that you hear the sound of the sonic boom as the plane goes by. The video is there, so you can check it out, maybe to hear it a little better. And last story comes to us from UFO Digest. Orbs. Emanations from spirit beings. Abundant help is available from the other dimensions to move us forward on our journey towards expanding consciousness and learning to love in all situations. After literally stumbling into orbs appearing as bright as light bulbs in photographs, I was taken of a spiritual retreat. I immediately sensed that I was onto something profound. There was no choice for me but to convince myself that my notion was on solid ground. I looked at thousands of pictures I had taken earlier, and thousands more would be taken to test my hypothesis that these light circles are nothing less than emanations from spirit beings. Technical control of the conditions under which the photographs were taken and processed has been of utmost importance. While my wife and several good friends substantially contributed to the proofs of images that were evaluated, I would only use those pictures where I was convinced. usually by my presence at the occasion, they were authentic. My own fabrication of moisture and dust orbs cast further light on how to distinguish authentic from fake orbs. Most of my research has been concentrated on photographing orbs and settings of spiritual events, but I also found appearances of orbs in more commonplace situations in life. Some experiments were directed to yield more information about their speed of motion, expansion, and contraction, intelligence, the mechanism of light emission, and the differentiation between photographs of light orbs and dark spirits. Particularly attempts of 3D stereophotography of orbs yielded interesting and unexpected results. Alright, see the little orbs here in the picture? You know, little interesting exercise. Go through pictures of yours. Pictures, and take a look and see if you see any orbs. You'll be amazed. Sometimes you'll catch them at strange places, strange locations. But I've seen all sorts of pictures where, I've seen orbs in them around. They're just balls of light. And festivals, you get them. Events where there's a lot of spiritual energy around there, you get them. Just gatherings where there's a lot of people, because there's always entities on multiple dimensions. So, are they dimensional beings? Are they UFO beings? Are they all the same? Good questions, all of them, aren't they? All right, there you have it. That's our UFO news for today. Let's jump away to a song for a moment. Wake up. I'll be right back.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing, but they're illusion from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What would our founding fathers say if they were alive today? Must be turning in their graves. Redcoats are coming, Big Brother's watching. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What if by land and two if by sea? And I on the opposite shore will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. When a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Next up, we're going to continue on with stories that have been happening. The weekend did not pass without notice. There were activities that took place, things for you to know about. The first thing, of course, we're going to start with is Ron Paul. Now, Ron Paul's been doing really good out there, but you wouldn't know that by listening to the mainstream media because they keep telling you that the establishment selection, Mitt Romney, is the one who everyone should be voting for and is the one who is apparently the guy that they say is going to make it. But they can't actually say that he's won the nomination yet, but they can tell you he's competing for the nomination, but they won't tell you who he's running against. So that's kind of weird. He may win, but you don't know who he's running against because the guy he's running against is really doing pretty good, Ron Paul. Now, I played a video last week. It's available at the site, firstcontactradio.com, right-hand side, daily news. And you'll see a Ron Paul link there, and where it shows his speeches he's been giving. And he's been getting 2,500, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 8,000 people at his talks around the country. And they seem to keep growing in numbers. The crowds keep getting larger, and the media is ignoring this, as if Ron Paul's not getting any attention at all. He's getting a big attention. There's a movement which is happening, and that movement is being ignored because the mainstream media, that includes Fox, they're all paid off not to tell you the truth, unfortunately. Their journalism integrity apparently is not what it once used to be in this country, because news goes by and the mainstream seems to ignore it as if it doesn't have any validity. Anyway, that being said, I'm going to play this. This is Ron Paul's full speech when he was at Texas A&M. Now, this is an hour-long speech. I certainly am not going to play the full hour right here. I don't have the time for it. But what I am going to do is I'm going to play about 10 minutes for you. So check it out. Listen to this. I think you're going to like it.
I think it's great for him to come visit. I think a lot of his views are just not seen by the general public because of our two-party system, and I think it's great for him to come out, and I'm proud to show my support.
We love Ron Paul! We love Ron Paul 22! Come on!
United States Army, retired disabled vet. I'm here because I'm a free man in a free nation. I intend to keep it that way. Senator Ron Paul, we are your friends. Please stand with us because we got your back.
Revolution is on. It's here. A lot of people say that Ron Paul is out of the race. As you can tell, many people are coming in tonight and we're ready to get it done. Ron Paul 212.
Howdy! It is a full, woo! Absolutely. Well, my name is Jeff Pickering, and I'm a senior communication major from Lake Jackson, Texas. But more importantly, I'm a loud and proud member of the Fighting Texas Aggie class of 2012. Hey! Woo! Aggies, it's been an honor to serve you as your student body president this year. Let me take you back to the night of March 4th. I was standing out in Academic Plaza, arm in arm with my friends, fellow Aggies who had campaigned alongside of me for SBP, and one of those students was Linda Paul, class of 2013. Linda is Dr. Ron Paul. If you read the battalion article today, Linda is Dr. Ron Paul's granddaughter. And after we had found out that I won the election to serve campus as student body president, a celebration ensued, and we were having a good time. Not quite as loud as tonight's celebration, but a celebration ensued. And in the midst of the chaos, Linda came over and she tugged my arm and she said, "I think you're going to want to answer the next phone call you get." So I pulled out my phone, and sure enough, this unknown number comes up, and so I kind of run away from the crowd, and I answer it. And I hear, "Jeff, this is Ron Paul. I hear you won an election tonight." So Dr. Paul's backstage, and Dr. Paul, I want you to know that I'll never forget that night speaking with you on the phone, sitting over in Academic Plaza. Thank you for caring about college students. Thank you for caring. Thank you for caring about the next generation. See, the day I moved into my office right over here in the coldest building, I brought 2 items with me that I knew were essential to inspire me to serve with principle and integrity, just like my hometown congressman. I brought in a green copy of the Constitution, courtesy of you. It sits on my desk. And I've got a photo of the congressman and his son, Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky, and that sits behind me on my credenza. So in 2008, I was just sharing this with him, in 2008, the Texas primary was exactly on my 18th birthday, literally on the day. And so I'm honored to say that Dr. Ron Paul was the first person I ever voted for President of the United States of America. Now in 2012, as the student body president of the greatest university in the nation, Texas A&M University, I am even more honored to welcome my hometown congressman, presidential candidate, and the champion of liberty to Aggieland. So Congressman Paul, welcome to Aggieland. Give him a... And with that, I would like to introduce Donna Pignon, because part of this process is the delegates process. No, hold on. Y'all give it up for Donna. She's going to talk about the delegates process and how this campaign operates.
I know that was a little letdown. Y'all were expecting the good doctor just now, so I'm going to take about 60 seconds of your time. Many of you have heard the word delegates. You don't know what it is. You don't know how it works. That's okay. Some of you are very well versed in this. The way that we win, the way that we have a President Paul and not a President anybody else, because they're all the same, the way that we get a President Paul is by the delegate process. The delegate process is not the campaign. It is not me. It is you. It is all of us. We have sign-up sheets out front. I accosted some of you personally out there saying, "Will you sign up to be a delegate?" This is what we need to do. I need a commitment from the people in this room tonight to donate a couple of hours of your time, either this coming Saturday or the following Saturday, to attend and participate in your county conventions. Delegates are how we win. It is the only way we win. We will be manning the exits. I would love to visit with you guys. There are county coordinators in 254 counties in this state waiting to talk to you guys. Would love to see you out front when this program is over. If you have any questions, we are here to answer them. We are here to work with you. Delegates are how we win. Who wants to win? That said, we've got a young man coming up next, Mr. Billy Yodel, the Youth for Paul chapter president.
Well, howdy! First, I'd like to thank the members and volunteers that helped make this event possible. Thank you very much. Give them a round of applause. So tonight, we're privileged to host the guest speaker. He's a veteran, an OB/GYN who's delivered over 4,000 babies, and a 12-term congressman from Texas. For 40 years, he's been standing up for the Constitution, sometimes casting that lone vote on Capitol Hill. He's never voted to raise taxes, and he's never voted to increase the scope of government. Now, I'd like to introduce my personal hero, the embodiment of all that is honorable in American tradition, Dr. Ron Paul.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Howdy. Thank you. What a nice welcome, and I want to thank Jeff and Donna and Billy for their introductions, and I appreciate everybody being here tonight for this wonderful, wonderful reception. And I also would like to have my family stand up. A few of them are sitting down here. Where are they sitting? If they would stand up. My wife is there. My wife Carol's there, and also my oldest son Ronnie's there. But I'm not supposed to tell you what university he graduated from, so I'm not going to do that. But his wife Peggy, I'm allowed to tell you about where she graduated. She has an engineering degree from where is that again? A&M. Their oldest daughter is with us tonight, and that's Laura, and she also is getting her MD degree. But her husband now is a graduate from A&M as well. And we have a granddaughter, Valerie. and of course, we forget about Linda. I think Linda, everybody knows who Linda is. Linda's over there, student here. But Valerie and her daughter, Caroline. But anyway, I am so glad to be here, and I'm so glad to hear the enthusiasm. Every day I get asked 3 or 4 times about why do young people care about you? I said, well, maybe young people care about liberty. That's what I'm talking about. So when young people are enthusiastic about that issue, I'm enthusiastic. It encourages me. I hope I can encourage you to fight the battle for the restoration of freedom in this country. One thing that comes up quite frequently is the foreign policy issue and how the campaign is going. But one thing I've been very proud of in the campaign has been the support I get from the military. If you add up the donations that all the other candidates get versus the donations I get and our campaign gets from active military duty, we get more than all the rest put together.
That's all I'm going to play for you at the moment. It's a lot longer, but you could see quite the response that he's getting out there. You're not hearing about that in the mainstream media, but now you got to see with your own eyes how many people he's actually drawing, people that care about what's going on. So, okay, moving on. Next story here, this is also involving Ron Paul, but it also includes some others. Tony Robbins, Ron Paul, and Bernanke all agree. The national debt crisis could destroy America. Is there one thing that Tony Robbins, Ron Paul, and Bernanke can all agree on? Yes, there actually is. Recently have all come forward with warnings that the national debt crisis could destroy America if something is not done. Unfortunately, our politicians continue to spend us into oblivion as if there will never be any consequences. When Barack Obama took office, the U.S. national debt was $10.6 trillion. Today, it is $15.6 trillion and is rising at the rate of about $150 million an hour. During the Obama administration so far, the U.S. government has accumulated more debt than it did from 1776 to 1995. The United States now has debt to GDP ratio of over 100%, and another credit rating agency is utter nonsense as long as we is downgrading U.S. debt earlier this month. Any talk of a positive economic future is utter nonsense as long as we are bleeding red ink as a nation far faster than we have ever before. It is absolutely immoral to wreck the financial future of our children and our grandchildren and to leave them with a bill of the greatest mountain of debt in the history of the world. But that is exactly what we are doing. Unless our current national-based, debt-based financial system is thrown out, there are only two ways this game is going to play out. One would involve us absolutely bitter austerity and deflation unlike anything ever seen before. The other would involve nightmarish hyperinflation. Either path would be hellish beyond what most Americans could possibly imagine. So, very important issue. Our national debt, it keeps going up. Obama's not doing us any favors. The administration's not doing us any favors. As a matter of fact, a lot of what's going on in America needs to be corrected. People just need to take a moment, like a moment to stop. If the whole world stopped for a moment, would we have an opportunity then to figure out what's going wrong? Would we restart ourselves in a way that was doing things incorrectly, or would we do things correctly at that point? That's going to be the big question, and that's something that we should all ask ourselves, because it just seems like if we just took a moment for the whole world, but it has to be everybody at once. And unfortunately, we don't get full agreement that everybody's just going to stop and fix the problem. So it seems like the only possibility, if that's the case, is there'd have to be some outside influence which steps in to stop Earthlings from being their own worst enemies. But then again, this is 2012, and that's what is going on during the course of this year. All right, moving right along. Now, we've done the reports about Obama and his birth certificate and the Judge Joe Arpaio and his investigation and how it's led to the findings that the birth certificate, which they are calling a file because it is an electronic file, was never a birth certificate, was completely fabricated and forged along with his selective service document. These are the findings that came out of that investigation. Then in New Jersey, they're also following along with the investigation, and this is where this story comes from. Now, believe it or not, but the Obama lawyer admits forgery, but then says that we have to disregard this as his check, whether he's ineligible or not, because the document is forged. Yes, this is a real story, and that's really what she said. A recent ballot challenge hearing in New Jersey exposes a desperate strategy by Obama to distance himself from his forged certificate and induce the contrived value of transient political popularity as the only legitimate qualification needed to hold the office of the presidency. This comes to us from Dan Crosby of the Daily Pen. After a Maricopa County law enforcement agency conducted a 6-month forensic examination, which determined that the image of Obama's alleged 1961 certificate of live birth posted on a government website in April 2011 is a digital fabrication and that it did not originate from the genuine paper document, arguments from an Obama eligibility lawyer during a recent New Jersey ballot challenge hearing reveals the image was not only a fabrication, but it was likely part of a contrived plot by counterfeiters to endow Obama with mere political support while simultaneously making the image intentionally appear absurd and therefore invalid as evidence towards proving Obama's ineligibility in a court of law. Taking an audacious and shocking angle against the constitutional eligibility mandate, Obama's lawyer, Alexander Hill, admitted that the image of Obama's birth certificate was a forgery and made the absurd claim that therefore it cannot be used as evidence to confirm his lack of natural-born citizenship status. Therefore, she argued, is it irrelevant to his placement on the ballot. And we could see this is a young lawyer. My question here, are they training young lawyers to not have any common sense? Because this comment here has no common sense to it. So she's actually saying that, yes, it is a forgery, but it was a plot so that we couldn't really find out what Obama's real nationality is. That's kind of what she seems to be saying. Because it's a forgery, it can't really be used, and it's irrelevant to the process of determining whether he's legal or not. However, it was Obama himself that said, yes, this was his certificate. So, where does that play into the matter? He said this was his. Did he not check it out for himself? Did he just say, yes, this was, without checking? If that's the case, then we have another issue at stake. A president who is making decisions without confirming whether the information is true or not. Because she's admitting that this is a forged document. Well, what does that say for the president who said this document was his? How does that work? So he said it was his. She said it was forged. 1 + 1 = 2. President gave us a forged document? Is that what this is saying? I'm not quite certain, but it seems that that's the direction where this is going. The story's online for you to check it out, see what you think. Now, we're getting some distraction in the news recently. In the midst of all of this controversy that's going on with Obama and the birth certificate. I know there's a lot of people that don't want to hear about this, strangely enough, but the distraction is in place. 11 Secret Service agents put on leave amid prostitution inquiry. This comes to us from the Washington Post. The U.S. Secret Service on Saturday placed 11 agents on administrative leave as the agency investigates allegations that the men brought prostitutes to their hotel rooms in Cartagena, Colombia on Wednesday night, and that a dispute ensued with one of the women over payment the following morning. Secret Service Assistant Director Paul S. Morrissey said the agents had violated the service's zero-tolerance policy on personal misconduct during their trips to prepare for President Obama's arrival at an international summit this weekend. We regret any distraction from the Summit of the Americas the situation has caused, Morrissey said in a statement. The rapidly unfolding scandal has upstaged Obama's trip to the summit where he is discussing trade and economy with 32 other heads of state. Though the agency has the Obama security was not compromised, the allegations of the misconduct have brought the intense scrutiny to an agency that has not had a major lapse since 2009 when the two party crashers entered the White House uninvited. Strange how all these incidents are going on with the Obama staff. But this is a big distraction. See, this Summit of the Americas, this is one of these things that we hear about where all these leaders get behind the scenes and they vote on things that really aren't necessarily in line with what Congress would vote on. This is also a time when they say Marco Rubio is there, and this is where they are going to pick who their next candidate is. Of course, behind closed doors, without Americans knowing, because it seems to be that these folks like to do things behind closed doors. So as you're hearing this story, just realize there's something else going on. Whenever there's big stories like this that distract the public from what's going on, then there's something going on. It's like the incident with the shooting down in Florida. It's been a big distraction. That's all you hear about. When you turn on the mainstream, you would think that this is the only news going on in the world. And then you've got guys like Bill O'Reilly come on and say reporters aren't reporting news, or Neil Cavuto who talks about they're not reporting real news, and what do we do? And what was this one commentator I heard on one of the shows, she said, how come reporters aren't reporting the news? Well, as she was saying that, it occurred to me that she was one of those reporters who was complaining that reporters aren't reporting the news, yet she wasn't reporting the news. And then she went on to doing her non-reporting, and it's very mind-boggling what's going on with the journalistic field today, because they're not serving the people like they used to. And it's questionable whether they used to in the past. Because nowadays, with the technology that's out there, truth is coming out much quicker than the mainstream news can get it, and the outlets, and that's why alternative media is making the progress that it is making. Now, here's an interesting story that goes along with that, because as this progress is being made, and as the alternative media is putting out information, the governments are trying to stop this. Here is one of these stupid bills that they're trying to put out. You get 25 years in prison if you annoy or offend someone on the internet. Well, the internet seems like it's always offending or annoying somebody. It happens every single day. So what, are we just going to load the prisons with people that are offending others on the internet? Goes on to say this comes to us from the Intel Hub. Shepard Embellis. Arizona Representative Ted Vogt recently addressed Arizona Bill 2549 that passed the House Thursday and is now awaiting the governor's approval. The bill, now set for approval, is very dangerous to almost anyone who uses an electronic device. In fact, so dangerous it could land you in prison for 25 years for essentially hurting someone's feelings on the internet. Not to mention, government-paid troll hackers are advancing on all fronts as innocent people, truthers, patriots, or people such as the likes of Ron Paul supporters could easily be set up and or targeted by nefarious people, organizations, or even Big Brother. In a recent article from CNN, Representative Ted Vogt shills for the establishment in a failed attempt to trick the general public. I think they're absolutely mistaken, Arizona Representative Republican Ted Vogt said of the bloggers and civil liberty groups that said the bill would censor the internet that clearly haven't read the bill. The bill targets, of course, conduct where an individual is harassing, threatening, or annoying a specific person. Here's the paragraph of that bill that got everyone riled up. It is unlawful for any person with intent to terrify, intimidate, threaten, harass, annoy, or offend, or to use any electronic or digital device and use any obscene, lewd, or profane language, or suggest any lewd or lascivious act, or threaten to inflict physical harm to any person or property of any person. It is also unlawful to otherwise disturb by repeated anonymous electronic or digital communications the peace, quiet, or right of privacy of any person at the place where the communications were received. Observers said the language was overtly broad and could be applied to censor the comments section of websites and other public digital forums. Well, is Jan Brewer going to sign this? Well, in the past, she seems to have been supporting the establishment agenda, so if that's the case, it looks like she probably will sign this because she doesn't apparently seem to be a friend of the people. I may be wrong, but it certainly doesn't seem her actions are showing that that is the case. Now here we go. We've talked about Nazis. We talked about the Bush family and their connection with the Nazis. Well, people have dismissed the idea of Nazis in America, Nazis in Washington. Well, here you go. This comes to us from the Hill. Nazi Party gets a Washington lobbyist. The American Nazi Party registered the first lobbyist this weekend. Disclosure records show. John Bowles registered Tuesday with the House and Senate offices to represent the ANP, which stands for the American Nazi Party. He plans to lobby on political rights and ballot access laws, according to the documents. Bowles is not limiting his lobbying ventures, listing several general lobbying issue areas on the form, including civil rights, health care, and immigration. Contacted by The Hill, Bowles said his lobby activities would test lawmakers' commitment to hearing all points of view. You know, congressmen and congresswomen have always been telling the American public that they were open to other viewpoints, Bowles said. I'm going to see if they were sincere about that, or I'm going to call their bluff. Yeah, Nazis. That worked really good, didn't it, out there in Germany and all of the exterminations that took place? So do you think it seems to be a good thing that there's now a lobbyist in Washington lobbying for the Nazi Party? Remember, there's a lot of you Americans out there who said what happened in Germany will never happen in America. Guess what? Little by little, it's happening in America, and it's gotten by all of you who said it would never happen. So it's important to pay attention to these stories because this is real, folks. This is real. And maybe some of these things might not be affecting you at this moment, but they will surely affect your children. So if you have children, this is the world that we're going to be leaving to them. It's important to make sure that they are not left with a whole load of garbage that they're not going to be able to deal with. It's important that they're not left with a world that is closed in like a prison around them. It's important that we stand up for their freedoms now. Very important. All right, here's a story about the TSA. Look at this. TSA brags about confiscating a can of chicken soup. Angry Americans demand to know why billions is being spent on ineffective agency. This is from Steve Watson at InfoWars. Anyone who follows the TSA blog run by Bob will know that from time to time the agency attempts to offset the ballooning negative public opinion directed towards it and the openly criminal behavior of its employees by bragging about the dangerous items that is discovered and confiscated from luggage and persons of those traveling through nation's airports. Another of these pathetic bragging blogs appeared this weekend listing discovery of a can of chicken soup as a success story. You read correctly. Billions in taxpayer dollars and unfettered power handed down to illiterate minimum wage thugs is resulting in the prevention of Americans from smuggling tasty broth aboard airplanes. Among the list of small knives, knuckle dusters, and various other items by this TSA were the following post. Chicken soup for your pants. Officers found a can of soup in Las Vegas passenger's carry-on bag. When told that he couldn't go through because of the liquid rule, the passenger said that they would put their soup in their checked baggage. But when the passenger returned at the checkpoint, officers saw that the passenger had tried to hide the soup in their pants. No soup for them. All right, well, that soup could be very dangerous when it comes to the cold. And I can understand, because the cold could be under threat. You don't want to give somebody chicken soup because it might eradicate like the cold, and that could be dangerous. So it's a good thing. Thanks, TSA, for making sure that that chicken soup got properly to where it needed to be, because without you checking for that, we wouldn't know what was going on. Web freedom faces greatest threat ever, warns Google's Sergey Brin. Sergey Brin says he and co-founder Larry Page would not have been able to create their search giant if the internet was dominated by Facebook. The principle of openness and universal access that underpinned the creation of the internet 3 decades ago are under greater threat than ever, according to Google co-founder Sergey Brin. In an interview with The Guardian, Brin warned that there is very powerful forces that have lined up against the open internet on all sides and around the world. I am more worried than I have been in the past, he said. It's scary. The threat to the freedom of the internet comes, he claims, from a combination of governments increasingly trying to control access and communication by their citizens. The entertainment industry attempts to crack down on piracy, the use of restricted walled gardens such as Facebook and Apple, which tightly control the software can be released on their platforms. The 38-year-old billionaire, whose family fled anti-Semitism in the Soviet Union, was widely regarded as having been the driving force behind Google's partial pullout from China in 2010 over concerns about censorship and cyber attacks. He said 5 years ago he did not believe China or any other country could effectively restrict the internet for long, but now he says he's been proven wrong. I thought there was no way to put the genie back in the bottle, but now it seems in certain areas the genie has been put back in the bottle. So definitely we need to be concerned when you have somebody like this who is behind the scenes and sees what's going on, and he says he's concerned. We need to pay attention to the bills that are coming out, because these bills that are coming out are not intended to help. They're intended to hurt. So if we go back to the last bill, where the internet and things are being done that is hurting people, you know what? It hurts my feelings that the internet is under threat. It hurts my feelings that there are agencies out there that are trying to stop this. So because my feelings are hurt, does that mean that the agencies who are trying to censor Google, does that mean that they should be arrested according to that last bill? Is that how that works? Because I'm guessing that there's going to be a lot of people whose feelings are hurt that the internet's freedom is threatened. So I think we need to pay attention to the bills and the wording in the bills, because if my feelings are hurt and your feelings are hurt by this, shouldn't that count every bit as much as whatever things that they are talking about that people's feelings get hurt about? This is a bigger issue, a big, big issue. We need to pay attention. Moving right along. All right, we've got a weather update from Dutch Sense. Let's check this out. Oh, hold on a second. Momentary lapse of confusion. All right, here we go.
Sense here. 12:22 a.m. Central Time on Monday, April 16th, 2012. And we're looking at Intellicast again. We're seeing multiple detections of damaging winds, hail. Let's go ahead and turn on the National Weather Service alerts, see if they've got anything marked. They actually don't have anything marked, so I guess this is not meeting their severe standards. However, the storm is very strong going down into South Texas. We'll go ahead and turn off everything and just look at the storms themselves. The color key is on here in the lower left-hand corner. Bright pink going into white centers indicates hail at the center and strong cell thunderstorms. So we'll turn storm tracking back on. And the computer is detecting it as well. Multiple detections of hail. We've seen extreme hail detections over the past several days now in South Texas, Central Texas, North Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas. Some even, maybe even possibly bowling ball size hail, which we have pictures of. And it's just unbelievable the amount of hail and damaging winds and tornadoes that have broken out with this storm and the previous storm. You remember right up here is where we had the 4 feet of hail about 4 days ago. So all in all, this storm is amazing. It's still kicking off extreme damaging winds. That means down here in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, North Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, possibly even as far as the East Coast in South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio, we still need to watch out for these damaging winds and strong cell thunderstorms, possibly even tornadoes kicking up. So you'll see the South especially. Now, this next line of storms, these strong cell storms that are coming in from the northwest, there's just a few now, it's nighttime, but there's at least some snow detected still out here at lower elevations, not up in the mountains, and it's coming to the southeast. To see that better, I've brought up College of DuPage, and we're looking at the infrared view. I've turned on the color enhanced image. Now you can see this is last night's storm. You see it flare up really strong, and then it dies out for a little bit, and then kicks back up again down here in South Texas. That's where we are currently. Let me just go ahead and stop it when we get there. Okay, here we are currently, and we've got these strong cells kicking off down here to the south. They're matching color-wise what we saw temperature-wise on the other storms yesterday, but on a smaller level down here to the south. So we'll have to wait and see. Is it going to slam Florida, or is it going to die out once it gets to the ocean here? Only time will tell. I'd say be prepared down here in the south, going up to the southeast coast, down in this region. Now, further northwest, you see the next system coming in. Let me go ahead and animate this up again. Okay, the large low-pressure system's up here off the coast of Alaska, and splitting off the bottom of it is another system that's coming in the Pacific Northwest in Washington and Oregon. Okay, and again, you can see the cloud temperatures indicating cloud height, and it's starting to get a little strong cell thunderstorms at least off the shore. So to see that better, let's come over to Intellicast. And indeed, you can see the computer's detecting strong cell thunderstorms, and the storm is coming in from the west. Turn on the cloud cover, and you see the portion that's pulling off of this large low pressure, which I think will eventually itself come down to the southeast. But right now, we're only going to have to worry about this portion here coming in over Portland to Seattle. I believe it will come up and over the mountains and then be pulled back down. And as that cold air, of course, mixes, you'll see more rotation, and it'll form into its own low pressure system. Again, only time will tell on that. Let's go back over to College of DuPage. We're going to go to the regional product, go to continental U.S. We'll go ahead and turn on the radar for the last 48 images. And this is just one final view. You can see all the background clutters up here throughout the south, mid-Atlantic, up to the northeast. This indicates high humidity. And as I said, it was really, really muggy in St. Louis. It's now pushing through, and you can only see a few stations. The stations that are spiking into high RF are the only ones that are left behind. You'll see them flash on and off. Not very well on this. You only really see it on Intellicast when it's not quality control feed. The other way to look at it, of course, would be to come over to the WDSS2, which is a feed run by NOAA, and click on CONUS Multi-Radar, and you choose the unquality control feed here, and you'll see everything without any interference from anybody, including a computer. And again, you'll see all the background clutters. I would say, again, we need to watch South Texas going up here into Kansas, maybe possibly into Arkansas, but South Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, because of the amount of humidity that's still left here showing up even after this cold system blows through, You see this next line lining up, plus the next storm out west. That means at least a couple days from now we're going to see additional severe weather. Keep your eyes peeled and be prepared, but it's shaping up to be a busy year so far, guys. Hang in there, folks.
All right, good report from Dutch. You get a lot more information there than you get on your local news reports. So, good stuff. All right, one last story. This is a good story here to end things up with before we do our meditation here. Mysterious frescoes in Macedonian church miraculously change color overnight. From Tracy Pierce over at the Examiner. There was a miracle taking place in Christian Orthodox Church in Skopje, Macedonia over the weekend. That's what believers think after seeing centuries-old frescoes in St. Dimitri Church change colors practically before their very eyes. The color change could be gradually taking place, gradually taking place since this past weekend when worshippers realized that the dreary, smoke-tainted frescoes on the walls were exhibiting brighter colors than they had in recent memory. Many consider this unusual effect to be nothing less than a miracle or a sign from God. The Huffington Post says the phenomenon began with the painted gold halos and jewelry that adorned figures in the painted frescoes. The shining gold color, once hidden behind centuries of candle smoke, emerged from the darkened paintings. The shimmering old was followed by the colors green and red. Father Zoran, the St. Dimitri Church, spoke about the miraculous change in the frescoes on Monday, April 9th. However, has not offered an explanation for the alleged miracle that the purported believers to descend upon the church in droves. All right, here's a video here. Let's take a look and see at the reactions of the people. I'm going to zip through this video here. The video's there for you to check it out. It's just the people observing what's going on there. So there you go. Very interesting indeed. Indeed. All right, last but not least, our meditation for today. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and close your eyes, relax, and let us imagine. Let us imagine that today we're walking down a path. We're walking down the path of life. And as we walk along, we find ourselves walking slower than normal. And we look down and we see a chain attached to our ankles. And it's slowing us down. And we look behind us and we see this chain is being dragged. And this is why we are going so slow. So reach down with your hand, touch the chain, and imagine that when you touch it, it falls off. And then touch the chain on the other ankle, and it also falls off. And as it does, you feel lighter. You're able to walk faster, to walk freer. And when you look back and you see the chain that is lying there on the ground, you realize what you've been carrying with you for such a long time has not been necessary to carry with you. And having released this long chain of problems, the freedom that you feel tells you that it's been long overdue. And now that you are free, you can move forward clearly. Your mind is clear because the chain also provided doubts. The chains filled you with fears. The chains held you back. But without these chains, the doubts and the fears go away. And as these doubts and these fears go away, thoughts become clearer, And as you look ahead along the path, you're able to see very clearly where you are going. You are able to understand that there is a guiding force, spirit, and it flows through you and helps you move in the direction you need to go. And by listening, we hear the voice of spirit guiding us. And we realize that this voice, this spirit, these guides have been around. And it is only the chains and the doubts and the fears that have kept us from experiencing their presence. So take a moment now to listen carefully to what it is your guides have to tell you. And as you move through life, know that these guides are there always. That you are always surrounded by those from unseen worlds who are there to assist you. Simply need to call upon the help that is around, and you will find that help will be provided. Let's imagine all of our chakras are activated, starting with the chakra at the bottom of the spine. Imagine the color red. Bring the energy up from the bottom of the spine to the belly button. Imagine the color orange. From there, raise the energy up higher, just below the rib cage. Imagine the color yellow. Send the energy up to the heart, right in the middle of the chest. Imagine the color green. Let the energy float up to the throat. Imagine the color blue. From the throat chakra, let the energy rise up between the two eyes to the third eye. Imagine the color violet. And finally to the crown chakra, the top of the head. Imagine the color indigo. And the light continues on into the cosmos as bright white light. Honor your connection to all that is, was, and ever shall be. So imagine sending love all around the planet. And with that, bring our energy and tension back to the present moment. Let's do so on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. And there you have it. We've made it to the end of another show. Prayer, meditation, the whole ball of wax. Anyway, that's it for today. Have a great day. Go out there and find what you can do today to make the world a better place. Just one little thing is all it takes sometimes. I'll be back tomorrow with more news information. Till then, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.